this is a very useful information as a data engineer, so that you can get a very quick view of your data flow. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Tech Insight with Arun. Please subscribe to my channel for more interesting informational videos. In previous session, we discussed about setting up your DBT account and connecting with Snowflake database and integrating your GitHub repository. Today, we'll discuss about creating your very first model and executing various DBT commands on that model. So let us quickly go through this. Now, to create your model, you should have a data loaded into your Snowflake table. So in previous videos, we discussed how to load a data into your Snowflake table. So you can go through those video. The link is given in the description. So now I have created one database which is called as the inventory, and within this inventory database we have created three different tables: customer, product, and sales. And also we have loaded data into these three tables. So let us quickly see how the data looks like. Okay, we have a customer table where we have ID, first name, last name, email, and created at. So let us see how the data looks like in this table. So we have around 200 records into this table, where first name and last name for a person along with the email address and the created timestamp. Now we will fetch this data into our DBT project and see how can we create the model and apply the transformations. Okay, on DBT ID, so these are the default files that created during your project setup. So analyzes, macros, models, seeds, snapshots, and test. And we have dbt project.yaml file which have the configuration for your project. So now we'll close this unsaved file. Okay, we can discard these changes. To begin with, let's create a file inside this models directory. So let's say right click on it and create a file. So we have to load a customer data. So we'll name it as a customer model.sql. So as we earlier discussed, DBT is using SQL as its base language. So all the models and the tests we are going to create, that will be based on your SQL language. So I have one query already formed. So let's pick this. Okay, we'll execute this query first and see what result it will return. Okay, so it will return three columns: ID, full name, and sign up date. So here we are adding the transformation as we are combining the first name and last name, and we are renaming the created at column as a sign up date. So this is your transformation query, and that we will use to fetch this data in our DBT model. So now this query is as it is. So there are different conventions to provide this table name. So table name can be given in this format. So let me quickly copy this format. Okay, so instead of customer name, we need to source this table from inventory database. Now we have included a customer table to source the data from. This data will be loaded in the source data, and this source data is used here for the formatted data to take the transform data, and then finally this transform data will be returned. Let's quickly see the preview if we are getting the data. Okay, now right now we are seeing one error, that customer which was not found, this inventory.customer which was not found. So we need to do some configuration here. For this model, we need to create one YAML file, so which is a schema.yaml, and in this schema.yaml file we can provide the configuration related to this model. So let's see what configuration we can provide. So by default it is using version 2, and we can mention the source like, okay, inventory is our database, and in the inventory a schema name is sales, and within this sales schema we have a table which is named as a customer. Okay, as now we have added the sources into our schema.yaml. Let us come back to the model file, and in this model file we need to specify, okay, what this customer is. So basically in our case this customer is a table within our database, so we need to configure this thing as a materialized. So here like if customer is a view, we can mention here as a view, but in our case it is a table, so we will mention materialized as a table. So now since we have added this as a materialize, let us save this, and we'll quickly see the preview for the data. Yeah, now we can see the 200 rows are written within 1.7 seconds, and this is the desired output of this model, and the same output we saw in the Snowflake query. Okay, now since this data we are able to load using this model file, now let's quickly test our model. So to test this we could give a command like dbt. We can first run this model, so dbt run select and then give your model name, so in our case customer model, and just hit the enter. So we could see model is in a running state, and yes, it got success. So this model is getting successfully executed. Now let's quickly test this model. So in order to test this, like we need to give a command dbt test select and then your model name, customer model. Okay, we can see this test is also success, but as of now we don't have any test defined on this model, so by default it is returning the success. So in the upcoming videos we will discuss about how can we set up a test on this newly created model. So similarly, we can create a multiple models based on your business rules that are defined for the transformations. And let's say if you want to select a data from multiple table and do some aggregations on that, so you can specify that according to your business logic. You can form that query and give that SQL query into this model file. So within this whenever you create a new model file, you can create a respective schema.yaml file, and in this schema.yaml file you can mention the sources, as well as we can mention the model specific information. For example, here in the default example we have the schema YAML file, and here we could see there are two models, my first DBT model and second DBT model, which is by default given by DBT. So we can define your model name and the short description about it, and then we can describe the columns inside this model, and we can give a description about each column, and then we can apply a test on those particular columns. So in this case for this id column we have a two tests defined, unique check and not null check. Similarly on in the second model, again on the id column we have two tests defined, unique and not null. So whenever we execute the test on this model, so these two tests will be executed for each model. So that we will discuss in our upcoming videos. How can we set up a test on this customer model? Now one more thing, let's quickly see how the graph look like, or how the dependency lineage will look like. Okay, so here we have our source is inventory.customer, which is mentioned as a source, and we have created one model, customer model. Okay, now if we have a subsequent dependent model, so those will be displayed here. This is a very useful information as a data engineer, so that you can get a very quick view of your data flow. And this is always important for anyone to see how your data is flowing from maybe one transformation to the other transformation in a graphical way, instead of going and looking into the table, or the scanning the entire script. This will give a very high overview, and it is very easy to understand. So as per my knowledge, this is one of the very useful information that dbt provides us, and this will definitely help us to debug and uh, get the understanding of the data transformations very easily. Now, since our model is ready and it is in a running state, let's commit all our changes into the repository so that it will not be lost. So in my previous session we discussed like how can we integrate our GitHub repository. So on that GitHub repository, I have created one test branch, and into this test branch we can commit all those changes. So whatever changes we are going to make into our branch, all the changes will be highlighted here. So in our case, two files are newly added, so those are highlighted here. So if you want to discard these changes, just click on these three dots and click on the revert file. All the changes will be reverted and your original file will be loaded back if it is existing file. So now we have to commit this, so click on commit file and sync and type some comment here. So let's say customer model demo, and then commit your changes. Okay, so only one file got committed because we clicked on that single file and then committed the changes, but instead let's click on this commit and sync so that all your changes will be committed at once. Customer model changes. Okay, now your changes are committed. You can raise a pull request so that the changes will be merged into your main branch. I hope you like this video. Please do remember to like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for being till here.